the rest of that grant, we gotta put up Forest Coast in. And I'm talking, working with OSU, they're like, well, wait till, you know, you get the good cold, and then it's gonna be, you know, cold until it's warm. Like, what the heck is that? You ever been on it again? So that's why we don't plant gardens till June. I mean, there's no such thing.
So you're trying to plant kosher?
Well, forage kosher.
Yeah,
It's yeah, it's a really good,
yeah, we plant quite a bit of it down at Crane.
yeah, they'll have a lot of forage kosher.
Yeah, we've worked at it.
And is that the one that does well for fires? Does
That's
it?
very green. It's the one, well, out there, the Natter, Wilbur's, remember that fire that came to this forage kosher? And that fire shut off, right?
Because they were gonna, at one time, they were gonna actually, I think they were gonna, and maybe they did, plant some around the fire break around town.
We did.
You did?
It didn't say.
It did.
We did not allow to do it there. OSU spent years studying when to put it out and how to do it.
You needed Ray Anderson. He's gone now. He was the king of kosher.
You can't plant it in the fall. That's common. You have to plant it closer to spring.
Oh,
If it germinates at all and then it freezes again, it's
it's
dead.
done.
It'll kill
Which we never had that happen.
it. I know. I said, "I didn't do that." Except you're lucky with Mother Nature.
Now they plant a lot of it in Nevada.
Down further south you go, so it takes easy down.
Yeah, it's a little easier to hit the right conditions.
Our country, if it's terrible ground, put forage kosher there. It'll grow. It's weird. It'll grow. There's no,
Sorry.
nothing else will grow.
When you compete in your sagebrush and everything else. And
Wilbur swear that they save, I don't know, several tons of hay every month.
yeah, it's really high in protein.
Sticks above the snow, so they can, the cows can munch on it. And birds can't hold on.
Wow.
Yeah, he told me one time, it was crazy, like 30.
Well.
They stayed in there every year. That's nice.
Yeah. Kidding. No, that what made me think of that is we had that one meeting. These guys were at this last week about
Oh, up above town, the fire break.
the fire break, you know, and that kind of made me, because we, in the past, we didn't organize it, but we did the trail, you know, we got the equipment, so we did. They were talking, City of Harney was talking about moving it in. So, you know, we did that, so let me know, but I thought that they had done, so talked about doing that.
That power line right behind the dump,
Mhm.
we see the. It's 2 miles.
And none of that good.
Hey Jesse, are you on there? Can you hear me?
Yes.
How about Tyler? Are you on there? Can you hear me? Can you give me a sound check, Tyler?
Good, that one cold ground, right?
It's better than seven.
But it's soft, right? You always go soft. Now they said you can,
Morning.
There's one. Your point, they have 3.22. Oh, wow.
I'm sorry, Tyler, one more time.
You have to. Yeah. Connected. Yeah, we got there. We got it.
What's it come down of?
There's the center mark. Yeah.
That's you know, I don't know. Come in here, can't get it to work, so I start plugging and I plug in. The one downstairs, Because the microphones have been plugged on in.
Because you were connected to the county stuff or just? Okay.
And then it shows it's recognizing it because the speaker is showing how, and the microphone is showing the how. I can't hear anybody.
Right.
Volume turned up on the laptop.
I've had it happen and then I'm like, they go, we can't.
Yeah, that's all.
Oh, that's the thing, like. I had, you know, that's AFC, might be several hour line for a long time. I have to be careful because, let's say the first one that's kind of really important one today. And then my computer will just glitch out, you know, just the sound is, and then I'll try to log in and the vote's taken, it's like, oh my God, how cool, how we.
So they go in, except for I saw it all. He said, the road just goes by, didn't even feel it, but. He's like, I went, oh, like, oh, and then,
Yeah, you got time.
There's a light on here now.
Is there just about got Liam out of the house, so. Tyler, if you can hear me, give a sound check.
What's that?
I said, we just about got Liam out of the house.
Oh, how are you?
3 times.
He's going to Boise.
No, it's
University. Oh,
Moscow.
What you looking for?
Percentage, well, yeah.
Dennis was trying to get them out and was making them.
I'll call it the owl for nothing.
That's what I heard. And built in and he's like, maybe those ones. Yeah, I said, I don't really know if it's worth you fighting with it
Yeah.
at that point. We did look though.
Last day we did. Lighting up on both ends over here now.
Jesse, are you online?
I see myself up there.
No, Jen put in or can this speaker? Yeah.
They need 2 times. Well,
Yeah, Dennis was trying to get them salvaged out of there for the future shots and for his stuff, but it was just like, I just.
So they walk out there.
Yeah, I can say outside of the wall. I know the inside.
Yeah, there was a big black one, there was a three seater. Christine Schmidt. And then the other one.
This is Jesse Barnes. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Thank you. Can you hear us okay?
Yes, we can hear you. It took a minute to figure out how to get everything unmuted.
Okay, give me a 1, 2, 3, please.
1, 2, 3.
All right.
Still there.
It takes an hour to get
They were trying to go in tonight.
All right, good morning, everybody. It is February 7th, 2024. We can stand up, please, join me. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And real quick, like, kind of a housekeeping item here. I've got some late items potentially, but our late item portion is buried at number 9. Would it be more efficient or better to have the late item topic at the very first?
I think so.
Okay, so for next agenda, we'll move that then to right under voucher approval. And having said that, then what I do have for late item under old business is the rights of way vacate request. I just got them back yesterday for legal counsel review for the resolutions and the orders that go along with them. And they're ready. It's just directs the roadmaster. We can read them in a second, but it just directs the roadmaster to do his portion of it. So they're pretty quick.
Okay. Sounds good.
So if we can add those under late items then. Then moving on then, the next topic is agenda approval with those amendments or late items added.
I move to approve today's agenda with those late items added. I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the agenda as described. Any further discussion? And hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And opposed? And hearing none, motion carries. Next item, minutes approval from January 17th, 2024, County Court.
I move to approve the Harney County Court meeting minutes of January 17th, 2024. Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the January 17th County Court minutes. Any further discussion? And hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
And opposed? And hearing none, motion carries. And that will take us to opportunity for public comment. Sir, please state your name and.
Paul Burns reporting on the CF meeting, which I didn't think we had anything important come out of it, except that probably April, they will begin the 88 cuts on the streets. They expect it to last through October. So between Burns and Hines, there will be traffic problems, you know, interruptions and that kind of thing for the 88 cuts. Other than that, I found it pretty boring. And I've been to some boring.
Next one I heard, I was talking with, an individual yesterday who mentioned a historic marker sign that was out by, what's the road that turns and goes after Riley, Wester Riley, turns and goes back in by the old state roads there.
South Dax or
Silver
Silver.
There was a historic marker there of some kind in the past, and it was in the right of way or something, so they took it out, but it never got put back in.
Yeah, I've stopped there, I think it had something to do with the Bannock Indian
Yeah,
and that
so-
war, and I never noticed it was gone, so, but you know, the state highway, so.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's a SEAC topic, but I figured,
Why not?
yeah,
It was right there at the big pole out,
Yeah.
right where the highway, where the old ODOT building.
uh-huh, yeah. So if it's something that speaks to our history here in Harney County, I'd like to see it replaced. Well, anyway, so I thought maybe, I didn't know if that's a SEAC topic or not, but deals with ODOT, so.
You're the vice chairman. Put it on the agenda.
Anyway,
Don't
so,
like it, they can cars about.
yeah, so, SEAC, thank you, Rick. Any other public comment? Sure, state your name, please.
Kim Rollins, I'm at 831 Riverside Drive, Burns, Oregon. This is a county court statement, public statement. It's about the proper time and manner of discussion included but not limited to matters before the court of action. Of course, my time is now, as is allowed for public comment. On any matter before the court that has received a motion and a second during the court meeting, there is a proper time for the commissioners to comment pro or con and debate and argue or express an opinion or giving facts. The time is after the second, but before the board vote is taken, and often written general and accepted, but in general and accepted rule is that after a vote, no matter how the vote went, the discussion should end. The court's decisions, whether or not unanimous, define the position of the entire court. Any commissioner who does not agree with the court's decision once made should not publicly undermine the council's decision. That is for the good of the body of the whole and the good of Harney County and the citizens. That said, during the last court meeting, Judge Hart chose to continue discussion after a vote on a matter of reinstatement of a fair board member. That happened after the fair board member was reinstated, but a majority of the vote by a majority of the court vote. I was shocked that the judge thought the public should know why he voted no after he passed on providing that information to the public and other commissioners at the proper time before the vote. Hearing the judge's comment today, I developed several feelings. I developed feelings of shock as I did not expect such unprofessional conduct from any commissioner. Some feelings of disappointment because I do not think that any public official should not be courteous and kind by presenting a personal attack against any citizen. I even felt a bit of embarrassment because I campaigned and voted for Judge Hart with expectations. Those feelings are all mine. I own them. Judge Hart is not responsible for them. I am handling those feelings in part by this statement. Now be assured, I did not campaign and vote to allow anyone to sit in those positions in the court and make a jackass of themselves. I do not ever want to see or expect to see that again in the future. Thank you for your consideration. And I would ask that this be put in the court record.
I don't normally during public comment want to become a debate or whatever, but to that point, if I was out of order, I've heard similar commissioners in states and other boards, public meetings do the same type of process to justify or not to justify, but to speak as to why they have an affirmative or a negative vote on something. If that is a point of order in Robert's rules, then I will make note of it and I won't do it again. But as far as my reasoning for voting yes or no, I think I have every right to say that as well. And that was not a personal attack, but rather why I felt that individual, why I voted no and my justification for it. So just a quick statement to that. Like, again, I don't want it to become in public comment a debate process or period. So I think it's appropriate to reply. So, do you have, I mean, if you have any rebuttal, I'll give you.
There was no reason for you not to say why you were going to vote no and try to convince your other commissioners to vote that way at the proper time. I don't believe when you spoke and spoke about Pat, that anybody in that room believed that you were speaking for the good of the county, for the good of the fair board, or for the good of the court. And it was just about Judge Hart, and you're not in that position to have it be about you.
Yeah, and I've never said it was, sir, and that is, again, your feelings.
It is, but like I said, I don't believe a person in the room thought that was about the good of the county.
So, thank you, sir. Any other public comment? All right.
Right time for the old time fiddlers to talk.
Well,
They're not on the agenda.
yeah, they're not on the agenda. I didn't have time to get you put on the agenda, for this one. I believe I got the phone message and didn't return your phone call from, I think it was Friday. Is that when you called? Was Friday?
I was in the office, but I don't know what day it was.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I got a message that you had come in, but I didn't have a chance to give you a call back. So I believe, Is this time sensitive? I know what you're gonna ask for. Is this time sensitive, or can we schedule you for the next county court session?
Go to the next one.
Okay. So we'll schedule you on the next county court
What's the
session.
date of that?
It's 20. Yes, 21st, February 21st.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Okay, hey, one more call. Any other public comment? Not seeing any old business, and that brings us to the rights of way vacate requests. And we had 3 letters to the county court requesting rights of way vacate requests. First one, I'll just take them in order. The first one will be resolution 2024-01. Whereas in the matter of initiating proceedings to vacate the county. No,
Okay.
no,
Then I
just,
won't- okay.
yeah.
I think I saw them there.
Proceedings to vacate by the county all streets located in the town site of Wellington, Oregon, owned by R. Scott and Ellen Franklin. So I put these through the county surveyor, got the appropriate legal descriptions for it, sent them to county council to review for language. Obviously, there's been one of these back in 2019, and I wanted to just make sure that all the pieces were correct. So, as requested by the Franklins, they wanted to have all the streets vacated in their parcel in the for pre-planned town site of Wellington. And the resolution is, whereas Harney County Court intends to vacate the following property, and it appears that vacation of all streets in the town of site of Wellington, Oregon, owned by R. Scott and Ellen Franklin, would be beneficial to the property owner for the following reasons. The town site of Wellington was never realized. The existing right of way is described below. And I'm not gonna go through the specific language of it. These will be made as part of the packet post meeting today. Whereas the road is no longer needed for public purposes. And then more portion of the legal description, it is hereby resolved in ordinance in accordance with ORS 368.326 to ORS 368.366, that it is hereby declared that the county intends to vacate the above described property, and that proceedings be undertaken to vacate the portion of said road described as follows. In the legal description, and this is says all that portion of the said Wellington plat lying within the southeast quarter of section 21, township 26 south, range 31 east, north of Mount Hero Lake, Harney County, Oregon. It is further resolved that the Harney County Roadmaster examine said roads and file a written report pursuant to ORS 368.346 subsection 1. It is further resolved that the time and date be established for hearing said report and for conducting a public hearing on the proposed vacation, and that such hearing be held in Burns, Oregon. And it is further resolved that notice of the hearing be provided by the Harney County Roadmaster in accordance with ORS 368.346 subsection 3. This is the piece that gets the ball rolling. The Roadmaster will then place notice at these locations and complete his report and send it back to county court. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. So that's the first one. On how if you guys want to do all of them, read all of them and do them, or do them individually.
Are they all to do with Wellington? There's
No.
other parties, correct?
Yes,
So
yes,
there-
they're three separate parties.
We probably better read each one.
Okay.
Parties.
The next one then being resolution 2024-2, notice hearing and order of a portion of Fields Drive. In the matter of initiating proceedings to vacate by the county a portion of the county road known as Fields Drive. Whereas the Harney County Court intends to vacate the following described property, and appears that the vacation of a portion of the county road known as Fields Drive would be beneficial to the property owner for the following reasons. The existing right-of-way described below is no longer used for public transit and encumbers the property owner of full and unencumbered use. And then the legal description, whereas the road is no longer needed for public, is described, and then whereas the road is no longer needed for public purposes, vesting by extension of the south line of parcel 1 of said partition plat 1012-0646 lying westerly Fields Drive to the westerly right of way of Fields, Denio County Road vesting as follows. Again, it's part of the legal description. It's in the resolution. This is just the kickoff portion of it. It is hereby resolved in accordance with ORS 368.326 to ORS 368.366, that it is hereby declared that the county intends to vacate the above described property and that proceedings be undertaken to vacate the portion of said road described above. It's further resolved that the Harney County Roadmaster examine said roads and file a written report pursuant to ORS 368.346 subsection 1. It is further resolved that a time and date to be established for hearing said report and for conducting a public hearing on the proposed vacation, and that such hearing be held in Burns, Oregon. It's further resolved that notice of the hearing be provided by the Harney County Roadmaster in accordance with ORS 368.346 subsection 3. That one was requested by the Downs family, who's the property owner. And this one is requested by the Britt family in, and I get all the different subdivisions. Garland?
Bronzo.
Or no, the Highland Estates.
Yeah, we refer to it Bronzo, but
Okay.
you're correct.
Okay, in Highland Estates.
Yeah.
Resolution 2024-3, notice hearing and order of an unnamed street in Highland Ranch Estates. There. In the matter of initiating proceedings to vacate by the county of an unnamed street in the Highland Ranch Estates. Whereas Harney County Court intends to vacate the following described property, and it appears that vacation of the unnamed street in Highland Ranch Estates, Oregon, would be beneficial to the property owner for the following reasons. The unnamed street has no reasonable outlet, and the right-of-way has never been exercised by Harney County. The existing right-of-way is listed below. And then again, the legal description of the specific right-of-way. Whereas the roadway is no longer needed for public purposes, and it does stipulate that John Britt had stated that the neighbor to the west, Husby, has not interested in the vacated area, and that would result in the entire vacated area to be vested as follows, and it transfers or becomes part of John Britt's property. It is hereby resolved in accordance with ORS 368.326 to ORS 368.366 that it is hereby declared that the county intends to vacate the above described property and that proceedings be undertaken to vacate the portion of said road described above. It is further resolved that Harney County Roadmaster examine said roads and file a written report pursuant to ORS 368.346 subsection 1. It's further resolved that the time and date be established for the hearing said report and for conducting a public hearing on the proposed vacation, and that such hearing be held in Burns, Oregon, and it is further resolved that notice of the hearing be provided by the Harney County Roadmaster in accordance with ORS 368.346 subsection 3. So having those in mind, any discussion on those initially?
No.
And those were all initiated by a request of court. There's two ways normally that we can do that, is by a request and then a court order, or by petition. And in this case, it was done as a request and court action.
And how was it determined that the neighbor was not interested? Did they provide documentation of no interest, or?
Not to us at this time, but that should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be part of my report. I'll make sure that that's in it.
So I would entertain a motion for resolution 2024-001 in the matter of the Wellington Estates Franklin property.
I make a motion to approve resolution 2024-01, notice of hearing, order of all streets located in the southeast quarter of section 21, Township 26 South, Range 31 East. In the matter of vacating proceedings to vacate by the county all streets located in the town site of Wellington, Oregon, owned by R. Scott and Ellen Franklin.
I second.
A motion's been made and seconded, to approve resolution 2024-01 as read. Instead of taking time to read all that again, unless somebody really wants to hear it. Any further discussion? And hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. And opposed? And hearing none, motion carries.
I make a motion to approve resolution 2024-02, notice of hearing and order of a portion of Fields Drive in the matter of initiating proceedings to vacate by the county a portion of the county road known as Fields Drive.
I second.
A motion has been made and seconded to approve resolution 2024-02 as read. Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And opposed? And hearing none, motion carries.
I make a motion to approve resolution 2024-03, notice of hearing and order of an unnamed street in Highland Ranch Estates in the matter of initiating proceedings to vacate by the county of an unnamed street in the Highland Ranch Estates.
I second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve resolution 2024-03 as read. Any further discussion? And hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And opposed? And hearing none, motion carries. All right, takes us out of old business into new business, weed board position nomination and yearly update with Jim Campbell. And I am going to share my screen with your presentation.
It's not on the.
Well, I'll keep that on.
Lindsay, grab a tissue and wipe the camera on that side. Jessie said she can't see that. You looks all smudgy.
That's fine, it should be up here on the screen.
I don't want this. Okay.
Bobby Joe was
She's
smudging
all day.
the meeting.
She'll see. Do I need to put now the record?
Much better.
I kind of noticed that at that public meeting where Bobby Joe was sitting there, it's like, she's kind of moving behind the boulders.
Well, after us handling it this morning, we probably smudged it all up. All right, Jim.
Just portion first.
However you want to do it, if you want to do the appointments first, that way, I guess if Tyler needs to go, he can go.
Right, they don't have to listen to this.
Yeah. So we received a nomination for appointment to the weed board, for Tyler Gost, and I don't have the.
Casey.
Number 11 doesn't begin with us. And Casey Otley. For the Diamond representative, Casey?
Diamond to Nevada. You can never keep the South End person on the board, they just never keep them.
Is there anything you'd like to say? Introduce yourself.
I'm Casey Otley. I now live in Happy Valley, which is close to Diamond, and was asked to be on the weed board, so.
Well, we thank you for stepping up for that role and your volunteering. And Tyler, can you hear us and can you,
Yeah, I can hear you.
okay? And it says Tyler Goss, Harney County CWMA Coordinator, interested in applying for the at-large position of the Harney County Weed Board to advise the Harney County Weed Control with its actions going forward. Would you like to introduce yourself? Anything you'd like to say about yourself?
Yeah, this is Tyler. I'm Tyler Goss. I'm the Harney CWMA coordinator. I have been for about 3 years now. I just know that I've been I think that it would be helpful. I'd be helpful on the board due to the fact that I have a lot of ties with the community and I have a lot of outreach events throughout the community with the Harney CWMA.
All right, thank you, sir. So I would entertain, I guess, a motion to appoint Casey and Tyler.
I move to approve Casey Otley and Tyler Goss to serve in stated positions.
I second.
Allison, whichever,
Oh.
you can do it.
I second.
I do it occasionally, second. So the motion has been made and seconded to appoint Tyler Goss and Casey Otley to the Harney County Weed Board. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I'd just like to say that I appreciate their letters of interest. They explained some of their background and experience, and they're very well qualified to be on that board, and I appreciate them stepping up.
So do we.
Any other discussion? And hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
and opposed? And hearing none, motion carries. Thank you. You are both so appointed to the Harney County Weed Board, and we appreciate your service. Now it's your show, Jim.
Now it's mine, how do I, do you advance that or?
Yeah, yep.
Alright, so I used to try to do this every year, it's been a couple of years, so I'm gonna try to do this fast, so I know you guys don't want to do, but, weed control department, the little basement department I always call it, we've had to get out of the way, and I try to come up here and just tell you guys, show you guys, what this little department does for the county. Anyway, so shoulder treatments, every year we do these, they're the county road right of ways. This year was challenging on all fronts because of that long, cold, wet, winter, spring we had. Everything got compressed. We did get 623 acres of paved shoulders done, which is pretty much all of our shoulders. There were a few we didn't get done just because water never left in time. We just couldn't do them. Then we spot spray, we go around, and we hand lawn noxious weeds off of all of the county right of ways. We did about 37.5 acres, and we boom sprayed amber grass, cheatgrass, produce ahead, about 41 acres. The big takeaway on that one really is it helps. It makes average roads defensible for fire. We try to push those amber grass off those roads, so if we do get a fire that comes through there, they can use it to fight a fire from. So we push them off about 20 feet off of the roads. So next one. Oregon State Weed Board, every year, the county, Harney County Weed Board, essentially has an agreement at this point with the Oregon State Weed Board. We have an African root that is the only one really left in the state, that we get proudly to own. We've been fighting it since Jesse was in my position, about 14 years now. It's more intense focus we're trying to do. We're trying to actually push it out of areas. We're doing some competitive reseeding now. We're not just spraying. We're trying to actually reseed some of these areas. We're down to 1.9 net acres, which is 2,700 acre project area. We used to do about 200 acres a year. We got down to 1.9, so we're winning. We just can't seem to push it out. So we're trying to do some things to push it out. We did about 140 acres of crested wheat and rather than alfalfa seeding. We're gonna try to get the forage coach in March. They the forage coach is probably the best competitive. Well, we want to make sure we do that. Working with OSU on that next week. So,
And where in the county is that? 1.9?
with that,
Where in the county is the 1.9?
it is about 10 miles out for Crane. Off of Hutchinson, I know it's good, Hutchinson, and Hutchinson, and then back through several anglers, I won't list them, but
That's good.
yeah, every year we do this, we have another application in, that anticipation is the state we're gonna approve it again. They pay for my time, we pay for the equipment and the herbicide, it's just a kind of agreement with that at this point with them. ODA, Oregon Department of Agriculture, usually we do very little with this group. Last year we did a ton of work with Oregon Department of Ag. The big reason is they were short staffed. They got behind on hiring, they got in a hiring freeze. We were the only county left with a crew, so everybody that needs help always reaches out to Harney County for help, which if we get help is good. They're expecting to get some staffing on this year, so they're not expecting to have to use it as much. But the projects, if you look at the list, very few of them are actually in our county, but almost every one of them leads into our county. Hogback Road and Plush, you guys know where that is, those kind of into our mountain on the bottom. Med-Sage is the problem there. We don't have a huge Med-Sage problem here. We want to keep it that way. Three Forks in the Owyhee River, Rome area. That's one I'm fighting because I just love it. Tooth and nail to keep. But we did about 51 acres, both seed Scotts thistle. Stinking Water Creek, the public side of that, we did about a half an acre of purple loosestrife. It's the only purple loosestrife infestation we have in the county. And then Gentura, Sucker Creek, and Leslie Goats, they were literally, they could have almost made Idaho. They were so close on that one, but we didn't. We're not licensed in Idaho, but we were so far over there. Did about 34 acres. The big one on that is that rush gelatin weed. We actually have found it out. We knew it was in Harney County. We just didn't have an idea. So the idea was to send that crew with an ODA staff member and teach them how to find that and what it looks like. And then as soon as they did, we found it. So we knew we had it. Kind of start finding it. It's in the Druzy area, which is coming right out of Ginger. Makes sense. That's the ODA work. It was a ton of work. We don't normally do anything with it. So we did all the time with them this year. So
I say, and those are under contract with ODA,
we have a cooperative agreement with the cooperative agreement.
and for doing so much work in Mount Here County that affect our work here in Harney County.
It doesn't, because it's during a time that we couldn't do anything. So it's actually BLM work, they subbed us. It's their BLM contract that we're just getting subbed on. So it's Vail BLM, which works very close with Vern BLM. So the Vern BLM folks are happy, especially for that skeleton weed work, to send us over there because it's gonna benefit us. So.
Next.
CWA project help, so Cooperative Weed Management Area, Tyler Goss is the coordinator for, we helped him with a couple of projects this year. Long Hollow and Burke Springs, which is kind of back there by Andrews. Mostly Scotts thistle, the Burke Springs, we found houndstone, nobody knew it was there, nobody knew it was there. So we got a plan on how to fight that. That's a terrible one. Here, that one sticks all over your pants. We don't really have it in Harney County a lot either, we want to keep it that way. Private section of the Stinking Water Creek, mostly the big portion of that is land ranch. You guys know where that is, up Stinking Water Creek.
Of course, we're gonna be plagued with.
That's the issue.
Only good for a little while.
PowerPoint, whatever, right? Alright, so most of it's on the land range. I don't know if you can see the picture, but that's actually Tyler. Springs, we took the little Ranger, we have a little Ranger set up. Ellie does, took out there as a hand, big long hose reel. It was a pain in the butt. Kind of a cool deal this year where he is contracting, or going to try to contract, a drone to do that. It's actually dangerous work on ATV. It was spooky. The grass is so tall, you can't really see what you're driving on. So we were like, we're not gonna do this anymore. So he's looking to get a drone in there, which will be neat. And maybe we get some exposure from that contractor down on Ontario, into this community. There's lots of that kind of stuff in our county that is spooky from the ground. All right. Immigrant Ranger Station, U.S. Forest Service. If you look at the map, we do road surveys and treatments, and they do pretty much every single road in the forest. The roads we don't do, Grant Wheat picks up. They're out of Druzy, so there's some of that that just makes sense for them to do, even though it's in our county. But we did over 200 miles of roads. They surveyed and treated, both thistle, Scotch thistle, a lot of knapweed, and then the hound stung they found up the 28 road, which is rattlesnake. We didn't know it was there again. The Forest Service didn't know it was there. The crew found it, so now we're gonna add that on to our project for this year. So we're gonna add some time to that project. Again, house stung, one of those terrible weeds that we don't have a lot of, so we want to keep it that way.
When you say that didn't know we had it and they found it, I would presume hopefully they're finding it in short or small areas, whatever, or is it
It was
more
pretty big.
pervasive?
Pretty big. It was actually not. It wasn't our area. Jamie and the crew went a little further north than usual, and they just bumped into it. We don't normally go that far north. It's usually this area. So I got all the Forest Service and said, hey, we would love to have that because it really ties into our country more than their country, and we don't want that. You guys never see on cows what it does to cows. It's got Velcro or little seeds that just Velcro to them. So we don't want hound stuff. So and they agreed. Forest Service agreed they're going to add some money to our agreement this year, and then we're going to go up to calamity lookout to that area. The refuge. We used to do very little out there. They keep adding more and more. Travis Miller, I don't know if you guys know him, he was a BLMer forever. He took over that side of the program for them a couple of years ago. He's very experienced. We're still focused on fairway Scotch thistle, but he's really shifting us to this Phragmites, hybrid cattail. Some of these are exotic. We don't have them anymore. Sketics, we don't have water. But they're a problem. They're a big problem. So we're gonna start doing that. I don't know if you can see that or see that top picture. But Travis is actually pulling Jamie Cronin in a boat. I said it was like the African Queen. She got pulled around all day by Travis. He's in the water pulling the boat, and they would land the boat. So we don't have an aquatic license. They would land the boat, and then we would spray weeds off the boat. We're gonna do a whole bunch of that this year. We're gonna get Jamie licensed up so she can do more of that. They want 3 people for a whole season out there. So it would be a challenge for us trying to get all staff. They get about an acre and a half of Phragmites and cattail. You can see Jamie in that small picture. It's kind of like Tyler. It's a big problem. So we're gonna do more drip boat and more airboat work. But those guys, once we get the proper license, we can't spray across water, in water legally. So we're gonna get licensed up to do that. And do a lot more work for them going forward. BLM, it is still our big one. If you look at a county map, you can see why. We do a lot of work with those guys. The strategic weed attack team, SWAT, not to be confused with the real SWAT team, did a bunch of work for them. We surveyed about 7,400 acres and we monitored about 35,000 acres. Monitoring really high point with binoculars, just looking across. That's a ton of ground. We did 48, almost 49 acres of treatments. 24 were annual grasses. We do a lot of annual grass. Most of it's in material sites. And then about 24.5 acres of broadwood. And the Virgin BLM is requesting 4 folks for a whole season next year. That's 7. We normally hire 3, and Jamie, who works for Eric in the winter and me in the summer. So working with Deanna, it's gonna be a challenge.
I was gonna say, you're gonna have some tough budgeting
Yes.
processes there.
One of the things we're thinking about, and I don't know, is FFA. Could we reach out to some college kids? Because the bulk of that work is like July, August. You know, they're obviously over 18, and then hire some kids that are going to school for range science and that kind of stuff, and actually hire them on summer help.
So from the looks of it, you've got at least 2, probably 3 crews gonna be going this next year?
Which is, we've done it one other time and it was a challenge. It's just because we're so spread out. There's stuff to do. The nice thing is, we have Jamie Cronin, and then there's a couple of folks that are coming back on the crew that are also very good. So we're fortunate that we have some good people on that crew.
So you'll have some return people that have got background knowledge and can serve as a crew leader or whatever.
Right, and they're licensed, which is a big one. It's hard to get licensed, but it's really, state of Oregon, believe it or not, makes it difficult. So it's hard to get that license. All right. Gravel pits. This is actually Burns BLM's just being good people. We do a lot of work. We do about 3 or 4 weeks. They fund it 100%. It's not just their pit. It's federal, state, county, and private. Anybody that'll let the crew in, the BLM will fund us to go spray pits. And of course, their logic is if we can fight it and get it defeated in those pits, we will not fight it on the roads and across the lands. So, we always make sure, like the county, the active county pits get on the list. The BLM make sure that all their active pits get on the list. But then we do a lot of private pits. People that call and ask, and try to get them on the list. It's just a really cool thing the BLM does. All right, aerial and reseeding. This is our winter work mostly. See that top right picture? They like it. It's cold. But they pile burn. BLM does they pile up the juniper, burn it. Usually turns into big wheat pits. So what we try to do is we go in there and seed it once it cools, with the idea that it won't turn into a wheat pit. We did over 1,000 acres, and they do it with belly bags. 1,000 acres. You ever do that? I mean, 1 acre each. They did 1,000 acres. It's an impressive number that they did out with belly bag this year. And we had a great winter for it. We actually could have done more. We just ran out of hours. So the crew and myself helped with the aerial. We did 75. The BLM did 75,000 acres of airplane helicopter spraying on Medusa, Pitnada, cheatgrass. 75,000 acres is a huge number out of an aircraft that does about 50 a trip. So we sat out there for weeks and weeks and weeks. Our job is to watch them, make sure that what they're putting out is correct, make sure that the volume they say put out matches what we said they put out. We're just an audit team essentially for the BLM. Yeah, that's what we did with them. A huge year on annual graphs, and it's not going to get smaller. So busy year. If you look at that top right picture, I just want to point it out because I think it's cool as can be. BLM again had a cool project. We went up to the long range shooting range of the Burns Butte. They wanted us to spray all the annual graphs around those metal targets. That's the 1,000-yard target, and that's Jamie Cronin's got next to it with a backpack sprayer on. If you ever go out there, look at the 1,000 range target where that girl walked with a 5-gallon backpack on her back. It is, you're using your hands to get up there. It's impressive work. So they sprayed all around all those. That's going to be an annual thing. She calls it her hunting workout regimen now. So we got some good folks again. Good goodness. So look at that target or go there. Imagine putting 5 gallons of water in your back and walking up there. 2024 is going to be huge. We got a lot of planning, a lot of work to do. The crew demands are going to just grow. So a lot of other counties have abandoned this whole thing because it's too much work, they say. And I refuse to. Unless you guys make me, I'm not going to quit. It's important. If nobody sees it, then that's good.
It's huge for me. I mean, it is for my roadways, keeping the, weeds back from roadways, whether, that builds up where it causes drifting during the winter, innocuous weeds or whatever, but it's a benefit for the road department. So.
Would there be any potential funding through rangeland fire mitigation to
That's
create
where
fire breaks? And
Tyler is already keyed into all that in his position.
Yeah, we've worked with Burn with that fire break. We've done work with them in the past. I have told them repeatedly, if they ever cut that line, we would glad the BLM said they would fund it. We'll gladly go spray it. But annual grass is the big one. It carries fire like crazy. Yeah. So we would gladly go up there and spray it for annual grasses every year. They just got to keep us in the loop on it. And Tyler he's really good for
Tyler's
that.
really keyed into all that.
I think the next thing is just for us. Try to do it fast. That's what they do. It's a lot of work. It really is. It's a lot of good work for the county. We're an ag-based county, and this crew does a lot of work for the ag-based people. So, figure it's gonna grow. So we can handle it.
So as far as any of the permittees, especially in the troubled areas that you're seeing, have you communicated directly with them to have them help you with kind of monitoring?
The BLM does, so we don't really deal with the committees, honestly, on the public side, the public land managers do, right? We do we do a lot of private land stuff, but it's all through our CWA. But, I mean, Jamie talks something, because we gotta get through gates, we gotta drive by their houses, we've had like the sheriff call before, because you're driving down the road, like, who are these people? We are really good at trying to contact people. There are times we can't and we gotta go. So we like to ride. We do a VPA, the power line 2 years ago. I just sent them out. And we tried to get hold of these people, but nobody answered. We sent them out. Sheriff Department ended up getting a phone call saying that people trespassing. We're not trespassing. It's our right away. We can go out there. But they did say, "Would you please call them just to say, what's the trip out here?" Yeah, we talked to them quite a bit for sure, but it's not. It's the range con, right, that they've got, and their weed specialists.
Are they checking cattle for house time as they turn out? I mean, because you do have some cattle that are coming in, that are sell cattle. Is that potentially how it's spreading? I mean.
It's for sure one of the, any wildlife, any human. I always say the way I found there's hounds on there, they're looking at my shoes. One time I don't see it, and you walk in, oh, hounds on behind me, I'm around it. Mostly we have it in 3 areas, and we do talk to those people. We have it on 28 Road, we have it up the top of Divine Canyon, and we have it up the Jacket Dam. When we fight those, Tyler has a whole project for Boyd Brickleys, we were Forest Service. We're very aggressive on that stuff. And those permittees, we do talk to them about cattle. Please don't bring those down here, because if it does get in our flood irrigation, it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a problem for everyone. So. That's what we do. And now, I don't think the deal enforce them.
No, but, boy, you sure would want that.
Because you can sure see it on them. It's not like you go, is it on them? Because if you ever see a cow with hound stung, it's very visible.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
In regards to the hybrid cattail, I saw the refuges, news brief on it and realized it's here and et cetera. But I never saw any, they mentioned spraying it, et cetera, but I saw some research and some stuff they were doing in other states where it sounds weird, but what they do is they cut it off and flood it and drowned it. And I was wondering if the refuge has ever mentioned anything like that, or.
For sure, mechanical, it's just, I was gonna cut it.
Yeah.
We have to get
Because I thought it was weird that you could drown the cattail, but they say if you cut the stalk off, you can, so.
It might be something, I can sure I'm talking about it.
Yeah.
Cause it is if you look at the cattail and the refuge, more likely you're looking at hybrid cattail, it's not the native on it, so. It's just taking over up there. And it's just all do with bird habitat, same with all the others, it takes away from the nesting opportunities. It's really not a countywide problem, because we still have the water, but it's just can't grow. Most of our county is pretty arid.
Any other questions?
I appreciate that, because, every time you've spoken to us in the past to give an update like this, it's very impressive and it's very important. And it's, I know that your weed board meetings are exceptionally exciting. But it's important stuff. Thank you.
I'm a terrible advocate, I try to be better, because we have people that do a lot of great work, and you guys need the county needs to know about it.
Thank you, Jim.
All right, thank you. Moving on, next topic is ballot measure to amend ordinance 2021-05, removing the requirement to hold 3 annual meetings a year. In communication coordination with the Move the Oregon Border group, we decided that the requirement to have, or we pitched to them and asked them if they would have any opposition to us removing the requirement to have the 3 regularly scheduled public meetings and change it to just as needed. So, because the last 3 that we've had, 1 or 2 people show up. If there's a big need, if there's a big issue at hand, and we're always more than willing as a county court to hold a special session or add it to an agenda of existing county court. So that's what this, and it will go back out in the ballot. It's a ballot measure. So since it was passed by the people of Harney County initially to be a requirement, we put it back out there again for the people to decide whether or not it be amended to remove that requirement. So that's the next topic. Is there any discussion?
Well, I read it initially when you put it out, and then I read it more carefully last night. And when do you have to have it done?
March 12th, I think, so we have time. If there's
Okay.
anything that we need to.
I just
amend or-
thought, I mean, I'll just throw this out. I'd just like to put myself in the mind of a voter who's just reading this cold. You know, it's not something they've been thinking about or they have that much familiarization. I just think there could be a few words in the title and the question to make it really clear what they're voting on.
Okay.
For instance, right now, the ballot title says amending ordinance 2021-05, requiring meetings to discuss moving Oregon-Idaho border. I would just change that to say amending ordinance 2021-05, requiring mandated meetings to discuss. And, you know, I can write this up. I mean, because most people know we ought to have meetings, you know, but we're talking about mandated ones here. And then the question, should ordinance be amended to make moving the Oregon-Idaho border a topic discussed at regular county court meetings? And I would add, and remove the requirement for mandated separate meetings for this topic, something like that. So they just know. I don't know. I just know sometimes votes will go the way I thought they would, and it's because of the wording.
No, that's.
And if you guys want to think on it more, but the rest of it's fine. I like the title and the question to really capture what they're voting on.
Agreed. This is just the first draft, whatever. I put it to council, and this is what we come back with, and just to propose.
Okay, well, I'd
So-
be happy to, you know, work with you both on it.
Yeah, if you wanted to do any edits and then, forward it. And then
Yeah, happy to do
And
so.
I'll
put it back on the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay.
And you said there was time, so.
Yeah, we've got plenty of time. The next agenda. Now, are you still gonna be gone on the next county court
Oh,
session? On the 21st?
Correct.
Okay. I'll look at, we should be okay then for the March 1st one for the deadline, but I'll double check and make sure. And we'll just bring it back.
I'll make sure I'll email it out so you can, yeah.
All right, so no action then at this time. We'll carry it to old business and bring it back, when it's ready to go for either the February 21st or the March 4th county court session. Just so we could all.
Because there's literally almost nobody that comes on those 3 dates. They're just not good dates. They're mandated. They don't work well. They're not necessarily times where there's developments to continue to talk about and hear from people about. And it just sort of, you know, we want to have it when people want to be there or zoom in or whatever they're going to do. Well, they started out, attended that first year and then last 2 years, just.
All right, so moving on then, next topic is, and it was tabled from the first county court session of the year. I'll review it, let me see where we're at. Court order in the matter of appointing county budget officer for the year of 2024-2025. We had a budget, work session, county court work session. Can't take any action during those, so now it's here before us again. Make a motion.
I just want to give a little recap of our work session. So what we did as a county court is, well, some of the budget board members were present. as well as a few other elected officials, and we just kind of discussed some of the budget process, some improvements that need to be made as we move forward in the budget process, things we need to budget for to help improve the budget process as far as some of the software that the county lacks to help department heads be able to data entry and save time and effort and redundancy and miscalculations of that. And so, you know, we're looking at trying to improve the budget process moving forward so that it goes smoother and is, you know, potentially a time savings for the budget officer as well as staff. And just that data entry side that seems to be very cumbersome right now. So it won't be, none of those changes will be implemented this calendar year, because software will take time to choose and then also budget for as well as train on. But that would be what we're hoping to get to as an improved budget process. And so Judge Hart will continue to work with department heads as we try to figure out those best practices and make those improvements, because we do understand that it is a challenging process as it's currently been implemented. So.
Just as a little context, right now, and this is about the same time last year I initiated the budget process last year, and from looking at past records, it's about the same time that the Judge Reynolds in the past initiated, but it runs all the way till June. You talk to other counties, I think it was in May of last year, I talked to Mount Airy County, Judge Joyce, and they were done with theirs. Not to say that it's something to rush through, but obviously they have a process that streamlines it and is more efficient in doing that process. So it's something that we're pursuing to try and find more efficient ways of getting that process done in a more timely manner. And I also think, from last year's experience, while I don't want to pass an adopted budget until maybe at least the middle of June or the third week of June, still pretty close to the end of the budget cycle, because things come up. There were things coming up last year that we had to go and change and amend almost right up till that time. So I don't wanna pass an approved or an adopted budget in May, when we still have time that things can pop up, but to have it ready and ready for adoption by the middle of June. And if anything does come up in between, then there are small fixes we can take care of. So that's kind of my goal and what I'm shooting for.
It was a good work session. I think I like the changes that we're going to try to make and moving forward. And so I guess it's time to appoint the budget officer. So I would move to approve court order in the matter of appointing a county budget officer for the fiscal year 2024-2025. Now at this time comes for consideration in the matter of the appointment of a county budget officer for Harney County, Oregon, for the fiscal year 2024-2025. It is therefore ordered that Judge William Hart be hereby appointed by the court to be the official budget officer for Harney County, Oregon for the year 2024, dated the 7th day of February, 2024.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded for court order in the matter of appointing a county budget officer for the fiscal year 2024-2025. In that being myself, Judge William Hart, as the budget officer. Any further discussion? And hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
And opposed? And hearing none, motion carries. Dominic, we have scheduled today a executive session. And Dominic, we're running a little behind. If you would like, I don't want to keep you from work you need to do maybe or whatever, but if you'd like, I can send you a quick email or whatever when we get to that. We're probably going to be about 15 minutes or so more yet.
Sure, yeah, that works. Yeah, I'll just look for your email.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thanks.
And that brings us to review for adoption of county ordinance number 2024-19 and 2024-20. Brandon McMullen.
Harney County has approved through the land use procedures, the 2024 flood study for the county. And also the, accompanying maps that go with those are the NFIP maps. Those are the maps that control or dictate whether certain developments potentially be in or existing structures could be in the 100-year special flood hazard area. With that part done, county needs to adopt those updates, and that's what these two ordinances are in place for. So I'll walk you through them really quickly. The first one is ordinance number 2024-19. That ordinance adopts the new floodplain map. And that's a really simple overview. It's map number 2 of the comprehensive plan. And it shows the large outline basically of where the flood map is now. You won't see drastic changes there because it's at such a large scale, but it's important to have that in a comprehensive plan as representative of that area. And that is the only change to the comprehensive plan. In discussions with the county clerk, Deb Robinson, and I coordinated with both of these ordinance drafts with him. He suggested that we also adopt the comprehensive plan in its entirety at this revision stage, even though it's a minor revision, for documentation purposes. While we don't make changes to the comprehensive plan at a regular basis, we have a handful of times over the last 5 to maybe even 10 years. And the document in singularity isn't adopted in one spot. And so his suggestion was to do that under this particular ordinance while we have the opportunity. So when you look at the ordinance, you'll see a section that is covered under Exhibit C. So your draft doesn't have anything tied to that. That's what this big, huge thick thing is. This is the what we're now going to call the 2024 Harney County Comprehensive. With again, the only revision being the inclusion of the new map. The other ordinance, quickly, is a requirement by DLCD. And they recognize that we have a separate ordinance for our floodplain development standards, which was done in 2021. There's a subsection in there, specifically 3.2, that references the maps which those standards adhere to, or they're meant to address. Currently, those maps are that are referenced are from 1984 and 1998. So we need to have those changes made, and that's what the ordinance is 2024-20. We'll go over that really quickly, but in its essence, that's how we can make this thing happen. The new maps are, as you well know, and we've all worked on, an incredible amount of work, and we get to finish it. We get across the finish line with these two documents on a job, on work that's been in place since 2008. This is a big deal. Selfishly, I'll use 5 seconds to tell you I had a business owner who came in, who's been paying flood insurance for a long time. Their policy was an annual cost to them of roughly $3,500. And she just received a notice that would go up upwards of $10,000 more after this year. And when I showed her where the new maps would have her removed from that requirement, she's almost in tears. This is a big deal. It's not a clean sweep for the whole community, but it is exceptionally more accurate and reflective of our flood risk in our area. And alleviates not only those areas that we want to project for floodplain management, but also those heavy constraints economically for our community. So proud of the work that we've all done.
Thank you, and appreciate you and your staff and everybody that's been a part of it over the last 15, 20 years.
The better part of 15, that's for sure. Yeah.
Brandon, I got a quick question, regarding adopting the comp plan anew. I think it's because we had a conversation that kind of touched on it. Would you anticipate scrutiny from external parties if Harney County's, adopting a new updated comp plan, not just the occasional amendments and things that we do that we may need to be aware of, or that you think there might come up from a certain sector?
At this point, I do not. The process is one that goes through a portal that the state has, the LCD has. And so the staff reports have all been updated and reflected on there to the best that I can recall. I have coordinated with the LCD staff on what our intent was and why we are adopting the plan again in this, and I received no pushback there. You never know, but to the best that I can anticipate, I don't necessarily see anyone else participate.
Sounds good to me.
I do have, these are the exact copies you have. However, this one has the comprehensive plan attached to it. If you'd like, I can just hand those over to you.
Yeah, well, I was gonna ask, are those available from the website in a PDF format or anything for the public to review?
They're not at this moment, but I can certainly post.
Okay, there should be a documents section within the website. That would probably be the place for posting that. And or under your department within the website.
There is one more thing I wanted to add. It is important. There is an emergency clause attached to both of these ordinances. And there's a fairly good reason why. The maps themselves become effective on FEMA's side tomorrow. And in order for us to utilize them, we need to have these things adopted. So that's why you have an emergency clause attached to it, which, as you know, makes the ordinances effective immediately.
I'll bring it up in correspondence, but here's a copy of that letter that I was talking to you about. All right, so, ordinance number 2024-19 in the matter of adopting the 2024 Harney County Comprehensive Plan floodplain map, flood insurance rate map, and flood insurance study. Whereas pursuant to the requirements of the Land Conservation and Development Commission, LCDC, and the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, Harney County is required to adopt an official flood hazard risk map. And whereas adoption of the newly updated county flood map, the revised flood insurance study, FIS, for Harney County, Oregon, unincorporated areas dated February 8th, 2024, and the accompanying revised flood insurance rate maps. So is that February 8th? That's an anticipated date that because they go into effect tomorrow. Is that what you were saying? Okay. And the accompanying revised flood insurance rate map firm panels 1036F to 1412F dated February 8th, 2024 will satisfy the Oregon statewide planning goal 7 requirement to plan for and apply appropriate safeguards for development in flood prone areas. And whereas the comprehensive plan updates are solely for the purposes of adoption of map 2 Harney County flood hazard. And whereas public hearings have been held in furtherance of this objective in conformance with state and county law before the Harney County Planning Commission and the county court. And whereas it is found that Harney County has engaged and completed these updates to the Harney County Comprehensive Plan under post-acknowledgement plan amendment processes, and the county court has considered the recommendations of the Planning Commission and the public. Now therefore, the county court of Harney County ordains as follows. Section 1, adoption of Harney County Comprehensive Plan Map 2 Harney County Flood Hazard. The Harney County flood map is presented as described under Exhibit A, attached here too, and by this reference adopted herein. Section 2, adoption of the FEMA flood insurance study number 41025 CV00B. Those are all 3 letters that will get confused real easy. Charlie Victor Bravo. The cover page of said study and associated firm panels is representative of its adoption and is presented under Exhibit B attached here to, and by this reference adopted herein. Section 3, adoption of the 2024 Harney County Comprehensive Plan. The Harney County Comprehensive Plan is presented as described under Exhibit C, attached here to, and by this reference adopted herein. Section 4, corrections. This ordinance may be corrected by order of the county court to cure editorial and clerical errors and to insert appropriate legislative history references. Section 5, repeal of ordinance. Adoption of this ordinance shall act to repeal any past flood plan maps previously adopted by Harney County as part of the 2022 Harney County Comprehensive Plan. Section 6, emergency. This ordinance being necessary for the immediate preservation of public health, safety, and welfare, an emergency is declared to exist, and this ordinance takes effect on its passage.
I move to approve ordinance number 2024-19 as read.
I second.
Motion's been made and seconded in the matter of ordinance number 2024-19 in the matter of adopting the 2024 Harney County Comprehensive Plan floodplain map, flood insurance rate map, and flood insurance study as read. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And opposed? And hearing none, motion carries. And if you'll leave that, section with us.
Next to us, let's just do that one. Susan, here's exhibit C, but I can't say that. Yeah. I told you I want to send it to you.
All right, next, ordinance number 2024-20 in the matter of adopting the Harney County Flood Plan Development Ordinance 2024. Whereas pursuant to the requirements of the Land Conservation and Development Department, DCLD, and the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, Harney County has been required to amend the floodplain development standards within county jurisdiction. Said standards have been amended only to reflect the newly adopted 2024 FEMA floodplain study and firm panels. And whereas the flood insurance study, FIS, for Harney County, Oregon, dated February 8, 2024, and accompanying flood insurance rate map firm has amended within table 1 as depicted in figure 1 of the firm index, is hereby adopted by reference and declared part of this ordinance. Said changes have been reflected within subsection 3.2 of this ordinance, and whereas public hearings have been held in furtherance of this objective in conforming with state and county law before the Harney County Planning Commission and County Court. And whereas the county court has considered the recommendations of the Planning Commission and the public, now therefore the county court of Harney County ordains as follows. Section 1, adoption of the Harney County Floodplain Ordinance 2024. The Harney County Floodplain Development Ordinance 2024 is presented as described in Exhibit A attached here to, and by this reference adopted herein. Is this document here specific to the first ordinance?
Correct.
And then everything else that's referenced here is attached?
Correct.
Section 2, severability. The provisions of this ordinance are severable if any section or any exhibit thereto is adjudged to be invalid by a court of competent jurisdiction. That decision shall not affect the validity of the remaining portions of this ordinance or exhibit thereto. Section 3, corrections. This ordinance may be corrected by order of the county court to cure editorial and clerical errors and to insert appropriate legislative history references. Section 4, repeal of ordinance. Adoption of this ordinance shall act as a repeal ordinance number 2021-02, Harney County Flood Plan Development Ordinance 2021, adopted on July 8th, 2021. This one doesn't have an emergency clause, is that?
I saw that. It is the intent to include it in this one as well.
I can include that in the motion.
And we're gonna be together again at 5:30 tonight for something in case you're gonna add that in and need the signatures.
Yeah, we can, do a quick reprint.
Sure.
I move to approve ordinance number 2024-20 by emergency order as read.
I second.
A motion has been made and seconded to approve ordinance number 2024-20 in the matter of adopting the Harney County Court Flood Plan Development Ordinance 2024 as read with the inclusion of emergency clause that will be added and then the document signed at a later date. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 I,
And opposed? And hearing none, motion carries. So we'll amend this and sign it later on.
Yeah, as soon as he gets it to us, we'll.
All right.
Thank you very much.
As somebody who has lived in a flood, in a designated flood area and has had to purchase flood insurance in the past, this is a big plus for those people that, didn't cover everybody. It's not going, wasn't expected to, I would say.
Not enough one point.
But those people that it does and alleviates that requirement now, it is a big weight off shoulders. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
thanks. Good job.
Next topic, proposal to use the design and build process for the event center, Lindsay Robertson.
Okay, were you guys able to read the lovely document that I emailed? Okay, so we can do the down and dirty and I can get you to your meeting. So since we have engaged with Overland and we were trying to bring them on as a, owner rep, and we're unable to do so, we'd still like to be able to have the opportunity to engage them in our construction phase. And so with that, we've engaged with Greg Smith and his team as the owner's representative for our project. And then they've identified the best path forward would be for us to secure a design build procurement process. And that would allow us to search for a company that is best qualified to continue our project rather than go through the lowest bid process where we have to secure the contractor at the lowest bid. So we can really find somebody who's gonna fit our needs, fit our geographical location, without causing any extra competitiveness and or, favoritism amongst our local contractors. We don't have anybody local that can staff that big of a project and then bond and do all of the necessary requirements to do that. So we are looking outside, but we don't want to look as far as Portland as well to, if we have to, that's what we do. But we can choose somebody that fits our needs and can provide us cost savings at the same time. So, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, if you're, I thought you were finished, go ahead.
I thought I was too, and then I remembered. So I just was able to look at my email this morning on my phone. I had an appointment this morning, but it looks like Audrey has sent us some documentation that I need to fill in. And then that needs to come to you guys that also provides a schedule. So what that will look like is if you approve that process through the county court this morning, ideally we could get a notice into the DJC today to be published Friday morning. And at that point, we need a 14-day open period where we post public notice, et cetera. At the end of the 14 days, we have a hearing. And then if it's approved at the hearing, then we can proceed and put out an RFQ, which is a request for qualification rather than an RFP. And get that process started. That would be open for 30 days. And then we could move to start closing that and getting a general contractor on board, getting life going. And it is also, we can't engage our civil engineer at this point, design, because he needs things from a general contractor to make his estimates and to put out his proper bid paperwork. So until we can get this general contractor on board, we just gotta wait. We'll go through the process.
I read through it, this, as I've mentioned in other meetings, this procurement laws in the state are 4 chapters long and very cumbersome. But this process, this design build process sounds really interesting.
Yeah, I feel like it's really gonna suit our purposes,
Yeah,
so much better and help us create a working relationship with whoever is building this building, that they're involved from, you know, subcontracting, you know, putting those RFPs out, and subcontracting into the billing to help me get that parsed out to our grants properly, into the actual boots on the ground and dirt work and all of the things that go up.
couple of things that I picked out in it, the controlled change order costs. It sounds like a much more fluid process that will help prevent that instead of things being nailed down and locked in at the time of contracting.
Yes.
So things like that, project delivery schedules being more flexible and fluid there in ordering and procuring and whatnot.
It sounds to me like it allows for a lot more of that overlap. So, okay, we're getting ready for this, we're gonna order here, or we work here, or we order here and work here. So like you said, I think it just improves the fluidity of the whole process. So we can meet that really tight time constraint by having that up to September 2025.
And just for the record, this document will be part of the record, but just for the record in saying so, conclusion of this process, the design build process will provide Harney County with the following advantages: cost savings as described in the document, reduction of schedule risk typically associated with complex construction projects. Opportunity to select qualified design build firms versus award projects to any bonded low bidder. Accurate cost data for projected designs, greatest assurance of project completions, and higher confidence in completing quality construction. Thank you, Commissioner Shellman. I know you both worked with county council quite a bit on producing this. And this, yeah.
Yeah, but and even, you know, kudos to our legal counsel, you know, she's really spent a lot of time trying to guide us in the best practice possible for this.
And find us the best scenario that's gonna fit our project, you know, that could be better solution. I appreciate that.
I think it really helps devise that roadmap and that progress moving forward.
Yeah, and what we're working with Greg Smith's team on is providing some timeline documentation that we can post and getting that out so that when the question is brought up, here's our timeline, here are our dates, here's the budget that's associated with that timeline. And we've already started with this process, building a timeline for that, and look to continue to do that. And then another thing that's beneficial for the county that we've discussed too is really placing a priority in our RFPs for some subcontractors to hire subcontractors local is qualified.
With that element in there as well.
Hopefully we'll also help with timely completion because we aren't waiting for outside sources to come in.
And to that you mentioned, Greg Smith, our economic development contractor for Harney County, his involvement and help and coordination in this too. So that's what we retained him for. So,
Absolutely.
So do we need a motion to accept this design build process?
I think mostly we set the hearing date to be 2 weeks from the posting.
I haven't had a chance to read.
And she was supposed to provide you, I asked her to provide you, so share some link.
I believe you have to accept the proposal.
I think we have to approve these findings.
Correct.
Email, but I hadn't had a chance to read it.
There were several.
I asked her to provide us with specific language.
That's the one that came last night at like 6:30, but I didn't read it until after I came. So
For tomorrow, there are 3 steps. Fair Board requests
that's the one.
exemption authorizing use of design build and submits draft finding in support of.
And that's what this is before, us is the findings in support of.
Step 2, county court as local contract review board enters order requiring that a hearing be held on whether exemption should be granted and requiring that notice of that hearing be published. After the Fair Board presentation and findings have been submitted, the county court acting as the board must enter an order. See attached proposed draft. So obviously, we're not there for that this morning. I don't have that. So I would course, the contract review board publishes the notice of, so it looks like like we've done with these other orders, we have to do an order for this. And it is attached, and obviously we're not prepared for that right now. And I would
Yeah,
propose-
the order comes after the hearing is held, then the order takes place right after.
I believe the action for today at this time would be, and I'm happy to make the motion to approve these findings of fact supporting the use of design build process, which will serve the best interests of Harney County. We at least can vote on that if you all have had time to review it. And I move to approve these findings of fact.
I second that.
A motion's has been made and seconded to approve these findings of fact. Harney County Fair Board finding in support of use of design build for construction of the Harney County Fairgrounds Event Center. Again, this document will be made as a part of the agenda packet as well for review. Any other discussion?
Before we close this, so just. You guys,
There's other pieces we'll have to do.
yeah, there's some pieces that I have to do. In those pieces, is there a notice for us to publish or not?
Says step 3, county court as local contract review board publishes notice of the hearing.
And so that was what would be happening today.
Well, it says once the order is entered, so we haven't, so that we're not prepared for the order right now.
Okay.
So once the order is entered, the county court as the board must publish notice of the public hearing. See attached proposed draft in a trade journal or statewide circulation.
We do have the order. Did she not send it to?
Yeah, but I'm just saying we don't, I mean, unless we're gonna do it later on today or try to,
Well, the order is just to, set the hearing, so it's. Do you guys have this?
I have.
I see the Audrey had sent it to me, but I didn't know if she provided it to the feedback.
which one is it?
Should be the second one.
Document 2.
Mhm.
In the matter of dated.
So we've done document 1 by approving the.
I don't believe I've got that.
Finding.
I'm gonna propose then that we have a executive session next. That will probably take a lunch break. I'll have this printed, make sure it's ready. We come back after lunch
We can reconvene.
and reconvene and take care of this after lunch then. To this part of it, so that we can get it done
Yes, I have
today.
If you didn't, then
I never got that one. You can forward it.
forward it to you.
So, in regards to the motion, any other discussion on that motion itself?
No.
Then all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. So we've approved
The findings of fact.
the findings of fact. After lunch, we'll come back with the order. I'll print it up, make sure that the dates and everything are filled in and it's all appropriate, and then we can sign that after lunch.
Sounds good.
Okay?
And I will go in and fill in the ARPA stuff on that other one and maybe even have all the documents after lunch.
Excuse me?
To reconvene,
Um,
will 1 o'clock be sufficient or not? 1:30,
yeah, let's call it 1:30.
was 1:30 work for you, Lindsay?
Yeah.
And, good work. I like this. I like the way it read. I like the possibilities and
Well, and I think it'll help us in any future projects, now that we have some of this foundation,
You know what to do.
being
Yeah.
set, we'll be able to execute things
that's
easier.
Hopefully this is for a good of everybody, not just the building.
So that takes us up to executive session. I will,
I'm gonna need break for just a second.
yeah, I'm gonna email Dominic, let him know we're ready for that.
Yeah. I did, thank you, oh, this being the longer stuff, this executive.
I don't think so. I'm hoping to have,
Good to see you. After she works with me sometimes, it does that.
Last time I was just like. And
It's still done that.
So fun.
And for the record, I am stopping the main county court session recordings for audio and this time.